listening to the Dank Swamp Rebellion with TikTok's biggest Coullion, HeyEROCK. All right, guys, so we're here tonight. We're super stoked. We have Mr. HeyEROCK in the house, internet sensation, TikTok famous. What's going on, man? Good to have you here on the Dank Swamp Rebellion.
Hey, Coullion. That's a pretty good introduction over there, you.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't know about internet sensation and all that other craziness you just talked about, but I'll take it, I guess.
But Hey Coullion is becoming a staple around these parts, and it's pretty awesome to see how you've adapted to that. Because you were just a regular cat, and then that kind of happened.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. Like I never planned for any of this, because if you were to go a year before now, like you'd have told me I'd have been on TikTok #1, I'd have said you're crazy. And then for you to say that I was TikTok famous and I had a bunch of people that recognize me everywhere I go and say all these crazy things or buy my merch, I'm like, there ain't no way, Jack. There ain't no way. Because my daughter, she was always on the TikTok game, even way back when it was like Musically. And I'd always laugh at her and make fun of her when we in the grocery store, because she would set up her phone by the mac and cheese and she would do her little dance and all that stupid stuff. And I'm just like, God, it's just
I'm
so
like, why are you
annoying.
having a seizure at the Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. And then of course, COVID hits, quarantine happens, we bored. Long story short, we download the app because my wife was having fun with it, and she's laughing. I'm like, what the hell you laughing at, woman? And I realized she was on TikTok, so I downloaded TikTok, and dude, just the rest is history.
The worst thing that could have ever happened to me was in a group text and a management text from work, somebody sent a TikTok video, and that was a chain reaction where I was addicted. I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah, they set it up to where it autoplays, and there's no relenting stop. There's no question of
That
what's coming next either.
The FYP thing, that FYP page is dangerous.
It is.
Because, man, the algorithm, they got that down to a science, because it will suck you in.
Dude, they should change it from FYP to the rabbit hole, because I'm telling you, hours would go by. It would be like most of the time I'm in bed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm old. So I'll go to bed at like 8 o'clock, 8:30, shut the TV off at 9:30. But on scrolling through the For You page on TikTok, man, it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to bed. I gotta turn this shit off. This is crack.
I'm telling you, it's hard to pull away.
So there was never a point in your life where you thought that you would even be in the rabbit hole in the first place, I'm sure.
No, never.
Yeah, they get you, man. That's how it's set up. It's specifically there to tap into that part of your brain to keep you there as long as possible.
And good on them. And then with that whole attention span thing, like you and I was talking about earlier, it's a minute at the most. So even if you don't want to sit there for a minute, you scroll on to the next video and it auto plays, just like you said, and that's it. And then it starts recognizing all shit. It's kind of scary, actually.
It really is. And it's to say that I will give you 60 seconds of my time, whether it's worth it or not.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of cool talent on there, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, a lot of things like that. A lot of comedians, which is really great to see.
I love the comedians.
To see the stand-up comedy game has now taken a new form, just because of TikTok, and things of that nature. But it's weird because it's also there's a darker side of TikTok.
Definitely.
And they have all these weird things going on, and it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole too, because all you have to do is look at one thing or comment on the wrong thing, and it's gonna bring all these other videos just like it.
Yeah, dude.
You know why though? It's the race to the bottom of the brainstem, and it's specifically made to do that. I'm serious.
He's going full on Matrix with us now.
Hey, look, you plugged in. You might as well accept it.
Yeah, I know.
But to be for the lack of a better word, a pawn in that system that we all are in.
Exactly.
And we're all fighting for the attention. It's really interesting to me how we embrace it and embrace it at the same time. Because, man, I hate the fact that someone's got me by the balls as soon as I turn this thing on. And I know it, but I want it.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, dude, you don't have any control over it. That's the thing. They got that algorithm figured out, and people they're putting all the same content that you're enjoying, that you're spending quality time doing. That it is kind of scary if you think about it. So they've got you figured out. They are in your brain, son. I'm
And
just telling you.
And you know it because you got big money coming on the back end for that information to show you what's going to keep you there. And I mean, how fast did TikTok blow the fuck up too?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
it was almost like whispers for a little while, and then all of a sudden it was so mainstream. It was on TV, all the news media outlets, all the super famous people that you knew, they're all on there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, but I bet you it's probably one of the fastest growing. It has to be the fastest growing.
I follow
social
Eric
media
Estrada. I literally follow Eric Estrada.
That's funny.
That's what
and he does his little dances and stuff just like the girls do. That's what I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now you really sucked me in.
That's where it starts.
Richard Simmons and Eric Estrada, both of my top 3 favorites. I'm just saying.
Nice.
That says a lot about you.
with so many people like talking about all this and how it's so addictive, that's one of the things that I've kind of been taking pride in myself is almost kind of keeping it PG and keeping it light and keeping it family friendly because there is, I guess for lack of a better term, a lot of poison out there, and it's so negative, whether it's race or the gender thing or God forbid politics. You say Trump or Biden, people are gonna bite your head off no matter which way you go.
Way. Yeah.
So I try to stay away from all that just to try to be the bright spot of somebody's day. And the funny thing is, I've had so many people DM me and not even just tell me that they like my content, but they're just overwhelmingly positive. I get guys with severe PTSD telling me all these things like, hey, I'm not telling you this because I want you to put it on social media, nothing like that. I don't want any, I don't need anything from you. I just want you to know that I've got all these issues and I can't even go outside of my door. But when your face comes on TikTok, you brighten my day. And I'm like, almost brought to tears, like, holy shit, I'm a savior for somebody who's going through hell. Like, how bad can this dude's life be? And I don't even know how to respond to it, but that's the kind of just thing that's just been fuel to my fire and all this stuff, and just trying to keep that going because I just love being a part of people's life. I guess it's just crazy.
That's one thing we were talking about before you got here is how PG it is, and that's a very positive realm to live in, right? Our show focuses a little more on the dark humor side of things because there are people in the world that cope with that side of it too. But it's just a very special type of person.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's not that it's any better or any worse. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, look, I'm no Disney character myself. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I've just chosen to go that route but mostly because my child is in a lot of it. I've got a 14-year-old. She just made 14. But I've got a lot of kids that actually follow me too, and it's almost like a responsibility even because I get parents telling me, hey, like literally have messaged me, said, hey, look, this is my child's account. I just want you to know that every once in a while I go on TikTok and I look to see what she's following, and your stuff keeps coming up constantly. She's telling me about, hey, Coullion. We're calling each other Coullion in the class. I mean, in the house, and I just want you to know that I appreciate what you're doing.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. And it's like, why y'all putting me in charge of all this shit? Like, but I mean, it's cool though.
But you chose it and you ran with it, and that's what matters. You could have taken the responsibility and said, no, I'm not going to do this, but you chose to, and choosing to, that meant that. There is, you already knew you had that responsibility inside you, whether you wanted to admit it or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good fit for me too, if I'm being honest, just because outside of TikTok, I'm a soccer coach. I'm a training coordinator. I'm part of people's development. I coach CrossFit. I just love being part of people's development, just in whatever realm that may be. So this was actually a really good fit. It kind of found me. TikTok blew up, and I had that Coullion Classroom, or people are asking me about Louisiana culture. So for me, the teaching part of it, I mean, I'm basically a teacher, So I just embraced it and I just roll with it. And I think that's why so many people resonate with me, is because I know how to deliver all that information. Because by no means am I an expert. I am not. People ask me, do you speak fluent French? Hell no, I don't speak fluent French.
I don't know a single person who could.
No, and they ask me about all these other words, and I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what that word means. I mean, I've got a lot of that Cajun flair from my family, but I mean, even DJ Rhett and probably you guys too, being a little bit further south than me, you know, I am not that expert, and I'm up front with them about it, but I
it's
don't mind.
different from every location. It's like you had said, the way you spell Coullion is a little bit different everywhere you go, but it's with everything. It's the way any of the little slang terms that we said growing up on the bayou. You go to any other bayou, it's gonna be the same thing. They're gonna say it a little bit different. They got their own little broken ways.
Yep.
And it's true. It's because we got very lazy with our enunciations of things, and it turned into these little slangs, and that's okay. That's the melting pot that we are.
Yep.
But it's when you get the ones that say, no, it's got to be this way because this is what I grew up in Pecan Island, and this is what it's gonna be. And it's like, bro, we all the same. We all just a melting pot of all this stuff that we can't pinpoint one thing to our background even. That is the majority ruling factor. So we might as well, we can do one thing, one or two things. We can celebrate it together and understand that just like every other culture in the world, Cajun culture has its differences across the Gulf Coast, or we can fight against each other. And that's the one thing that the rebellion's about is and even with HeyEROCK and Hey Coullion, it's the you can feel that wantingness of people to kind of understand us, because we don't do things like any other place in the country. I talk about all the time. You watch Food Network and things of that nature. When they're around the country, a lot of times it's like best burger or best, best wrap, best chicken wrap. It's kind of bland. But in the South, we're different. We have a lot of flair to a lot of things. I like that you do a lot of cooking videos, man. That's near and dear to my heart, because that's one thing that I do not want to die. Is the real Cajun traditions. I don't want our kids growing up, and I'm not saying that it doesn't have its place, but I'm just saying I want our kids to know how to make a real roux, not out of a jar,
right?
Not out of a box and add water with breeze flour, whatever it is.
Yeah, but dude, you can hurt some feelings too when it comes to cooking.
You can.
Like just for instance, I posted TikTok every once in a while will like recycle my videos some kind of way. I did a video a long time ago.
That's because if you had enough likes or comments, it was going to recycle it for you to try and do it again.
So my wife was going to do, we were kind of hungry. We're like, look, she said, I'm just going to cook a real quick jambalaya. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, we were just going to try to make it the fastest way you can. Like not a big old fancy jambalaya pot, like in the crock pot, son. And she still makes a hell of a jambalaya. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get this on the video. And I said, look, I'm going to show y'all how to make an easy jambalaya in the kitchen without any fancy equipment. Right? Yeah, that's how I posted it. Okay.
And here comes the hate.
It's just ridiculous. Like some dudes like, I'm from the jambalaya capital of the world. You don't even know what the hell you talking about. That ain't no jambalaya. Like I can't even like comment, and you're just an idiot. You're an ignorant asshole. Like,
let me tell you something, bro. I've been all across the South Louisiana, and every single damn city I've been in is the jambalaya capital of the world, if you ask them. So screw that dude. I don't even know who he is, but come find Grovon. Come see what's up, bro, if you want some. I don't know.
Exactly.
Username X179444286.
Yeah, him. Exactly right.
Get him.
It's always the ones on TikTok that have the usernames and no content. And all that
zero
stuff.
content. He follows 13 people and has 2 followers.
Yeah.
He's on a mission.
Yeah,
this guy's a bot.
Yeah, I'm worried about what you're saying. But the funny part about it too is that I don't even have to say anything. People in my comment section,
they go ham.
Well, that will literally just let me tell you something about HeyEROCK. He's the real deal. I was like, all right, thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
All the Couillons are rising up, bro. It's like the Cajun Navy.
Exactly right. That Coullion Navy.
Couillon Mafia. That's the next T-shirt.
Exactly.
Hey, look, you brought it on yourself, man. You're literally the role model for your Couillons.
Yeah, I know.
And you brought them together for your defense line. Yeah, and that's great. That's amazing.
I tell you, I love my people. Boy.
All these little soccer kids come start kicking your ass. You're gonna know, dude.
A bunch of ankle biters. Yep, kicking soccer balls at everybody. Everybody's gonna have like a big soccer ball dent in that car.
Man, it seems like all our fans throw us right into the flames.
Oh yeah,
it's 100%. Like, hey man, get in this stupid ass shit.
So, did you hear about the sinkhole down in South Lafourche they found today?
No.
Yeah, we didn't.
This
either.
is breaking news.
Oh, are you being serious?
Yeah, seriously. Was it on Highway 1? I think it was on Highway 1.
I think so, yeah.
Massive sinkhole right in the middle of the road. Just came out from under it. Nobody was injured or anything, but yeah, huge sinkhole.
One of our fans, shout out Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel in Morgan City. Thank you so much, Miguel.
Eyewitness report.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to Miguel real quick because, man, let me tell you something. If you have a more engaged fan out there, it'd be hard to beat. Miguel loves us, and we love you, dude. Like, we got some stuff coming to you. We're gonna send you a little care package. We love you, dude.
You know it,
good
man.
stuff.
So how does he reach out to y'all? I'm just curious.
Through Instagram, Facebook, just however. Yeah,
I gotta follow you guys on Instagram. I don't think I'm following y'all.
Also, we have the transformation of you saw the school bus outside. Yeah. So we live in that thing. I laid carpet, built a bed frame, and a garage in the back of that thing, and all gutted it all. And all of our progress on that to take the show on the road is on there too. So you can follow that.
Okay.
It's pretty strenuous experience to
I'm
say
sure.
the least.
I'm sure.
But it's slowly
cool.
slowly killing
It's
him, but
coming
I
along.
think the time comes back when you're on the bus and you don't have to
When
live.
I was in my 20s,
You can get that back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a bus.
It's a magic school bus.
There you go.
When I was in my 20s, I could have
Miss
done it
Fraser,
okay.
where you at, girl?
But now that I'm like almost 40, it's and I'm fat, it's kind of killing me.
You're still a little baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
fat
40.
baby.
I'll be 44 in next month.
Yeah, but you're a fit 44. I'm a fat baby, so that makes me like 63.
You'll be the guy with the bus.
It's when
though.
people like give us hate because they're like, "Hey, look at that bald, fat, cisgendered white guy," and I'm like, "Oh, I know what?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to make me mad at this? I know I'm bald, I'm fat, I'm white. I get it.
You're
cool
just
with
saying adjectives already.
Yeah, that's what my profile says. It's
Yeah,
a bald,
I know,
fat guy.
That's a whole lot of that is a lot of adjectives.
Yeah.
Big description. TikTok is a huge place, and while you would think that maybe, if I'm doing something and you doing something and he's doing something and she's doing something, that we're competing against one another, but I don't think so at all, because you can literally watch my video, and then once it's over and you scroll up to the next one, there's Stale Cracker, and you watch his video, and then you scroll to the next one, and so it's not like it's just room for everybody. So my thing is, if we've all got a big following and everybody likes us.
But we talked about maybe a dozen people on TikTok that are doing that in this area, and I know like 3 or 4 that we keep in contact with on a different realm that are doing the same thing, from Lafayette to even up to Shreveport. But it's really, when you think about mass populace of the state, it's really a small number of you guys doing that. So that's what makes it so cool. So even when you think about it in any other way, you still got to think about it as far as numbers go. Even if you put up 1,000 videos each, it's a small number of video content in a large pond of your populace, right? So that's what's awesome about it, is that all it takes is that person. And we had Kyle Crosby, who is not just an absolutely amazing historian of Cajun culture and New Orleans history, but he said the same thing. He's like, man, my first thing, I was just kind of like on a Popeyes commercial. I was like, wait, you were on a Popeyes commercial?
Yeah, that's cool.
You did something. You took the first step. You saw an opportunity and you seized it. And that's just with everything else in life. If Bill Gates wouldn't have took his first step with his first idea, if Elon Musk wouldn't have done it, so forth and so on, where would they be now? Right? You wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be sitting here, and you wouldn't be sitting there with 225,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah, 245,000.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. I know.
That's good though.
So, well, I mean, it's not a whole lot. It ain't Stale Cracker who's got a couple of million, but
That's all right. You'll get there.
Yeah.
Especially for the short amount of time, just doing it through COVID and getting hip to the game and getting on top of it. You'll get there. All you got to do is keep on it, keep doing what you're doing, and that's what amazes us. Is when we started the Instagram game, it was like, man, our followers kind of want to know what we're doing. When we opened up our email to our followers after our first season, we didn't know that our first season was going to be as successful as it was. And when we did that, we found out how many people were actually listening. and wanted to know what's up, just from little things like, hey, we're camping in Grand Isle, or we're out at Bud's Broiler in Metairie, just those little things. And you portray that really well, man. And I thank you for the fact that you do portray our culture in such a positive light, because that's one thing that we always discuss that we're fighting for, is we don't want the stigma of mainstream media and Hollywood of what they put on us, to show that we have fun, we party, we do all that stuff, but we also are brilliant in what we do. We're engineers, and we're musicians, and we're artists, and we're actors, and we're everything across the board and in between. Yeah,
that's very true. Like, there is that stigma, and I get the question a lot about, where's all the swamp people? Where's them tree shakers?
You looking at it, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, look, there's a lot of that's for TV, and they got some people that talk like that, but that's not Louisiana. And one of the things too is, if you're in New Orleans, or if you're in St. Charles Parish by me, or even in Thibodaux by y'all, or even if you go across the lake, people talk different 20 minutes down the road. And, when you go a little bit north of I-10, you go across the lake, you get into Baton Rouge, you get into Alexandria, that's a whole other world, and people talk different. So there's just so many surrounding cultures. Like, people need to understand that it's not just what is on TV. And I would hope that people really say, Louisiana's probably not that dumb.
And that's one thing that's really cool about this show is, there's a lot of local outlets here, okay? That's one thing we're proud to say, is that we are listened to worldwide now, which is pretty badass.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Every show we have to give a shout out to India, because they are the second biggest country that listen to us, 1100 strong. Thank you, India. Kerala, keep it strong.
That's
and now, Kerala, go check out HeyEROCK on TikTok.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, HeyEROCK. You can search all over TikTok, Facebook. All your podcasts. Go check out my HeyEROCK podcast too, y'all.
And if y'all learning how to speak English from us, like we have always asked if that's what's going on, get on his TikTok, learn what the word Coullion is.
Yeah, exactly.
But
let them know who sent you too.
And the two guys in Canada beautiful. Also do our two listeners up there. Also check it out. But it's pretty wild the way it's spreading. But unfortunately, when Kyle Crosby also, he went out to Los Angeles, did some movie work out there, and they said, "Can you do it with he was in a casting call. Can you do that in an American accent?" Bro, I am American.
Yeah, I know, what the hell? Golly.
And they have it, and that's another thing that Louisiana dread. And those guys are fighting for it too, and hopefully that's what everybody's focus is going to turn to eventually. Just the kind of the creative circles that we run with also is the same thing. We're tired of having that stigma put on us that we're a bunch of illiterates running through the swamp with brown feet, and because we're staying by the mud, and we're not.
I mean, we do that every once in a while.
I do that too.
Not all day long.
Yeah, I will go on record to say that I did get flesh-eating bacteria in my leg from getting cut by an oyster shell while crabbing in the water in Pontchartrain.
Right.
That's
just not every day.
So I just want to say I will go on record for that, so that kind of stuff does happen.
All right. Well, I have a tidbit of information that I just learned that I think you guys might be interested in. Did you know that way back in the day, the reason that people in the South have the bad stigma that we're talking about being a bunch of dummies and uneducated and just a bunch of fools, did you know that was all derived from these parasites that people around here used to walk around barefooted, and these parasites would get into their feet, and it had something to do where it would get into their body, get into their blood system, the bloodstream, get into the brain, and it would have all of these really bad side effects to where people they sounded like they were idiots. They were drawing their words and all this stuff. This is no bullshit. Like, you can literally Google this. I was listening to, I think it was on Joe Rogan, and they were talking about it. And sure enough, they Googled it and everything. I don't know if y'all listen to Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah. Love Joe Rogan.
So they were Googling it. They pulled it all up. And sure as shit, like, that was the reason that it was all a bunch of parasites. And it was so widespread in the South because, people walking around barefooted. But, yeah, so that it kind of stemmed from parasites.
Huh.
Who knew?
Damn.
Man.
See, that's why I'm so smart. I don't really run around barefoot. See, I stayed away from the parasites.
And you didn't snort any water from the brain-eating amoeba that we had a while back.
See that? The Coullion Classroom's in session, and I just learned y'all a thing of 3.
That's it.
How about
That's
that?
awesome.
That's it, babe. Do you know when that happened, like time frame at all?
No, I mean, I'd have to Google it too, and I don't know the exact specifics, but I shit you not, that is the basis
That's
of the
crazy,
story.
man. That's
so
nuts.
when I leave here, or if anybody listening to this, go ahead and Google it, and y'all can be like, dang, that dude sure was right.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna have to give the South a little bit more respect.
That's it, dude.
Feed parasites, people.
Bro.
Feed parasites.
I think another part of this too is perspective, because you got to think we lived our Cajun lives our whole life, right? And we kind of took some of these things for granted as we grew up, just because we didn't want to associate with what our parents were doing, or just kind of rebelling or whatever. So you got to think we're a very small community of people compared to much larger cultures. And from a perspective of a person who's not from here, they may not even have thought of what Cajun is in the first place. So the first thing they hear about it is, chances are, your flesh-eating bacteria type story shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what resonates with them, and they have the stigma forever because that's what they're taught. And it's the same thing with literally anything else in your life. If you're going on thinking for the rest of your life that this is my religion, you best believe that my whole heart's going in there. And if I'm taught that this is how Cajuns act and are, it's going to be kind of tough to change that idea around.
Yep.
And it is really awesome to see all these content creators putting that on a platform, on the pedestal, that this is not the case. Now, yes, it's part of our act, but as far as us as people, we're shining a lot brighter than some of these other fuckers out here.
Is the truth. Yep.
There's no way that I would think that, just like you, brother, you never thought you would have had a TikTok and you'd be considering or doing things like this, yet you're still a role model and you still have a different platform to do this approach, right? And same thing for us. There was no point in my life as a musician thinking I'm going to be running a podcast at any point, and yet here we are. But the awesome thing to me is you were literally a Facebook message away from, hey man, I think this would be cool. What do you think? Boom. Set up.
Yep.
Here's the date.
Thank you for listening to the Dank Swamp Rebellion. Tune in Saturday when we learn another thing or 3 about HeyEROCK.